They say talent can open doors, but only discipline can keep them open. History is filled with brilliant minds who failed not because they lacked intelligence, but because they couldn't master the one thing that mattered most: their own mind. Steve Jobs once said, "Focus means saying no to 100 good ideas and yes to the great ones." But if focus is so powerful, why do so many talented people never reach their potential? Today's story will reveal the answer and teach you how to train your mind for unstoppable success. Stay until the end, because what you're about to learn could change everything. In a quiet town surrounded by hills, there lived a 17-year-old boy named Marcus. Everyone who knew him said the same thing: that boy has incredible potential. His teachers marveled at how quickly he grasped complex concepts. His parents beamed with pride when he solved problems others couldn't. Marcus had a dream, a crystal-clear vision of his future. He wanted to become a doctor, to heal people, to make a real difference in the world. The path seemed obvious. Study hard, get into medical school, achieve greatness. But Marcus had a secret enemy, an enemy he lived with every single day, an enemy that whispered to him constantly, stealing his time, sabotaging his dreams. That enemy was his own undisciplined mind. Every morning, Marcus would sit at his desk with the best intentions. He'd open his textbooks, ready to conquer the day's lessons. But within minutes, his attention would drift. His phone would buzz, just a quick check, he'd tell himself. Then one notification would lead to another. Before he knew it, an hour had vanished into the void of social media. There's still plenty of time, he'd rationalize. I'll start seriously tomorrow. But tomorrow would bring the same story, and the day after, and the day after that. His parents would remind him gently, "Marcus, your exams are approaching. You need to focus." His teachers would pull him aside. "You're so capable, but you're not applying yourself." Marcus would nod and agree, yet deep down, he believed something dangerous. "I'm smart enough. When it really matters, I'll pull through." Then came the day that shattered his illusions. The school scholarship examination results were posted on the main bulletin board. Marcus approached with casual confidence. The scholarship wasn't just about money, it was a pathway to his dream, a validation of his abilities. He scanned the list once, then again, then a third time, his heart sinking with each pass. His name wasn't there. Meanwhile, his classmates, students he'd always considered less naturally gifted, were celebrating. The same people who studied for hours while Marcus scrolled through his phone. The ones who followed routines while Marcus followed impulses. They had succeeded. He had failed. That afternoon, Marcus walked home in a daze. The disappointment in his parents' eyes hurt more than any words could. That evening, he sat alone in his room, staring at the walls, replaying the moment over and over. For the first time, Marcus allowed himself to face the brutal truth. Intelligence without discipline is like a Ferrari without fuel, impressive to look at, but it won't take you anywhere. He had talent. What he lacked was control. Control over his time, control over his habits, control over his mind. Something has to change, he thought. I have to change. Marcus decided he needed more than academic tutoring. He needed someone who could teach him something schools rarely addressed: mental discipline. That's when he heard about Coach Davidson. Coach Davidson was the school's physical education teacher, but his reputation went far beyond sports. Parents whispered about the transformations they'd witnessed: distracted, unfocused boys entering his program and emerging months later with laser-sharp discipline and unwavering determination. "If anyone can help you master your mind," a friend told Marcus, "it's Coach Davidson." The next morning, Marcus found Coach Davidson at the athletic field, setting up equipment for the day's training. The coach was in his 50s, with kind eyes that seemed to see right through people's excuses. "Coach Davidson," Marcus began nervously, "I need your help. I can't control my focus. Every time I sit down to study, my mind runs wild, jumping to my phone, to social media, to 1,000 different thoughts. I know I'm capable of more, but I'm sabotaging myself. Can you teach me how to discipline my mind? Coach Davidson studied Marcus for a long moment, then smiled knowingly. Controlling the mind isn't easy, son. But before I teach you anything, I need to show you something about yourself. Come with me. Coach Davidson led Marcus to the archery range at the far end of the field. He retrieved a practice bow and arrow from the equipment shed, then set up a target board 30 meters away. If you can hit the center of that target, Coach Davidson said, handing Marcus the bow, I'll know you already have the focus you need. Marcus positioned himself, pulled back the arrow, aimed, and released. The arrow sailed wide, missing the target entirely. Interesting, Coach Davidson said calmly. Tell me, what were you looking at when you released that arrow? Marcus thought for a moment. Well, the target, obviously, but also the trees behind it, the fence, the grass, Stop right there, Coach Davidson interrupted gently. That's your problem. You're looking at everything, which means you're truly seeing nothing. He took the bow and loaded another arrow. Watch carefully. Coach Davidson's entire demeanor changed. His breathing slowed. His gaze locked onto the center of the target with an intensity that seemed to block out the entire world. Nothing else existed, not the trees, not the sky, not even Marcus standing beside him. He released. The arrow struck dead center with a satisfying thunk. A master archer, Coach Davidson explained, doesn't see the field, the weather, or the distractions. He sees only the target. Everything else disappears. That's what real focus looks like. He turned to Marcus. Your mind right now is like your first arrow scattered, unfocused, aware of everything, but committed to nothing. Your phone, YouTube, social media, daydreams you're trying to aim at a dozen targets at once. That's why you keep missing what matters most. Marcus felt the truth of those words deep in his chest. So, what do I do? How do I train my mind like that? Coach Davidson sat down on a nearby bench and motioned for Marcus to join him. Listen carefully, he began. I'm going to give you 4 principles. They're simple, but they're not easy. If you commit to them, truly commit, your life will transform. First, command your thoughts. Your mind is not your master, it's your servant. The moment you catch yourself drifting toward distraction, speak to yourself. This is my study time. I choose to focus now. Don't negotiate, don't debate. Command yourself, like a general commands his army. Second, build a sacred routine. Discipline isn't about motivation. Motivation fades. Routine is what saves you. Create a daily schedule and protect it like it's holy ground. Your brain craves patterns. Give it a pattern of excellence, and it will follow. Third, remove all distractions. Your phone isn't just a distraction, it's a thief, stealing your future one notification at a time. During study hours, it doesn't exist. Turn it off. Hide it. Create an environment where focus is the only option. Fourth, practice daily, no matter what. Mental discipline is like a muscle. You can't build it in one workout. Start with 20 minutes of pure focus, then 30, then an hour. Small daily victories create lifetime transformations. Coach Davidson placed a hand on Marcus's shoulder. The mind is like a wild horse. If you don't train it, it will drag you wherever it wants, usually toward comfort and distraction. But if you discipline it, it becomes the most powerful force in your life, carrying you toward any destination you choose. That day marked Marcus's rebirth. He created a strict study schedule and followed it religiously. He turned his phone off during study blocks, not on silent, off. Every time his mind wandered, he heard Coach Davidson's voice. This is your study time. Focus now. The first week was torture. His brain rebelled, craving the dopamine hits of social media. But Marcus persisted. The second week was slightly easier. By the fourth week, something miraculous happened. Focus became natural. 6 months later, Marcus took another major examination. This time, he didn't just pass. He scored first in his entire region. Standing on stage, receiving the top scholarship award, Marcus caught Coach Davidson's eye in the audience. The coach nodded once, a silent acknowledgement between teacher and student. Marcus had learned the greatest lesson of his life: discipline your mind, and success has no choice but to follow. Your mind is either your greatest ally or your worst enemy. The choice is yours. Train it with discipline, and there's no dream beyond your reach. If this story inspired you, like, comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. Until next time, stay focused, stay disciplined, and keep moving forward.